While most people were focused on Tesla, BYD, and the newest electric vehicles entering the market, Toyota quietly revealed something that caught the attention of the entire auto industry. Toyota's CEO said that this solid-state battery could have a major impact on the future of EVs. The real question is not whether Toyota has created something new, but what it has been working on behind the scenes for so many years. Toyota has never been a company that rushes technology to market. It is known for spending years testing, improving, and refining its products before making them available to customers. That approach is one reason why many people are paying close attention to this announcement. Now think about it for a moment. What if an EV battery could be safer than current lithium-ion batteries, charge in less time, and offer a driving range that reduces many of the concerns people have about electric vehicles today? For most buyers, charging speed, battery lifespan, and safety remain the biggest questions before purchasing an EV. Toyota believes its solid-state battery technology could help address these concerns. That is why this development is being closely watched across the industry. If Toyota succeeds in bringing this technology into large-scale production, it could influence the direction of the EV market in a big way. So, what makes this battery different from existing technology? Why are so many experts talking about it? And what could it mean for companies like Tesla, BYD, and other major EV manufacturers? We will explore all of these questions throughout this video, so stay with us until the end. And if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to Gear Nation for more videos like this in the future. What exactly is a solid-state battery? When we talk about EV or mobile batteries, most people only know that the battery charges and the vehicle runs, but the real magic happens inside the battery, which we can't see. The batteries used in most EVs and phones today are called lithium-ion batteries. The solid-state battery that Toyota is talking about is something that will fundamentally change the system. You don't need to be very technical to understand this. Let's understand it with a simple example. Imagine the battery is a bottle. In today's lithium-ion batteries, there's a liquid inside that bottle. This liquid helps electricity flow from one end to the other. This liquid makes the battery functional, but it's also the biggest problem because the liquid heats up. It can leak, burn, and in extreme cases, catch fire. You've probably heard in the news many times about EV or phone batteries catching fire. The biggest reason for this is this liquid. Now, in a solid-state battery, this liquid is completely removed. In its place, there is a solid material, meaning a completely solid substance. Think of it like a stone instead of water. When there's nothing flowing inside, the question of leakage doesn't even arise. The risk of fire is greatly reduced. This is the first and biggest difference. Now the question arises, what's the advantage of removing the liquid? The advantage is that the battery becomes more stable. In today's batteries, if too much heat is generated, or there is even a slight problem during charging, the risk increases. In a solid-state battery, heat control becomes easier because there's nothing inside that can melt or spread. This is why companies are claiming that these batteries will be safer. The second major difference is charging speed. Today's EV batteries charge slowly because the energy flow inside the liquid is limited. If you charge too fast, the battery can be damaged. In a solid-state battery, the energy flow is smoother and more controlled. This means the battery can handle faster charging. This is why brands like Toyota are saying that in the future, EV charging could take minutes instead of hours. Now, let's talk about range. Today, the biggest fear people have before buying an EV is how far it will go on a single charge. Solid-state batteries have a higher energy density. In simple terms, more power can be stored in a battery of the same size. It's like being able to fit 10 shirts in a bag that previously only held 5. This automatically increases the vehicle's range. Another major advantage is battery life. Today, lithium-ion batteries gradually weaken over time. Their capacity decreases every year. Solid-state batteries experience less wear and tear because the internal chemical reactions are more controlled. This means the battery can function properly for many more years. This is a huge relief for EV owners, since battery replacement is the most expensive part of ownership. Now, a common question arises. If solid-state batteries are so good, why aren't they on the market yet? The answer is cost and manufacturing. Solid-state batteries are not easy to manufacture. The materials are expensive, the process is complex, and mass production is still a challenge. This is why companies like Toyota have been working on this for years, but are not rushing into it. Toyota's approach has always been the same. First, fully understand the technology, test it, let it fail, and then make it reliable. The same strategy is evident with solid-state batteries. Toyota knows that if this technology is launched in a half-baked state and fails, trust will be broken. That's why they are focusing more on preparation than on hype. The biggest problems with today's EV batteries. Today, whenever someone thinks about buying an EV, the first thing that comes to mind isn't excitement, but questions. EVs look futuristic and they drive smoothly, but in reality, there are some problems that almost every EV owner or buyer fears. These problems aren't shown in advertisements, but they come up every day in real life. This is why many people are still hesitant to switch from petrol and diesel. The first and biggest problem is range anxiety. In simple terms, it's the fear of what happens if the charge runs out. Let's say you bought an EV, and the showroom told you it would go 400 kilometers on a single charge. But in the real world, with traffic, AC, bad roads, and fast driving, that range drops to 250 or 280 kilometers. Now imagine you're on the highway. The next charging station is 40 to 50 kilometers away, and the meter shows 20% battery. At that moment, you're not driving the car, you're managing the battery, slowing down, turning off the AC, constantly staring at the meter. That's range anxiety. The second big problem is slow charging. In a petrol car, it takes 5 minutes to fill the tank and you're on your way. It's not like that with an EV. Even with a fast charger, it takes 30 to 40 minutes, and with a normal charger, it takes 6 to 8 hours. Now imagine you're on a long trip. Your family is with you, the children are restless, and there are already 2 cars ahead at the charging station. An hour goes by just waiting for your turn. This is where excitement turns into frustration. The third problem is the fear of battery fires. Even though companies say it's a rare case, the news keeps instilling fear in people's minds. People forget about news of phones catching fire, but when videos of EVs catching fire surface, confidence is shaken, especially in hot countries where the temperature is already high. People think, what if something happens during charging or while parked? This fear stops many buyers. The fourth, very practical problem is battery degradation. When you buy a new EV, the range seems good, but after 2 or 3 years, that range gradually starts to decrease. It's like with mobile phones. Initially, the battery lasted all day, but after 2 years, it barely lasts half a day. The same story applies to EVs, the only difference being that replacing the battery here costs a small fortune. People worry about what they will do if the battery weakens after the warranty expires. Another ground reality issue is charging infrastructure. In big cities, you can still find chargers, but taking an EV to smaller cities, towns, or villages still feels risky today. Sometimes the charger isn't working, sometimes there's no electricity, sometimes the app doesn't work. That's when people think a petrol car was better. Besides this, weather also affects EV batteries. Extreme cold or extreme heat both reduce the range. In the rain, in hilly areas, or with a heavy load, EV driving requires different planning. This means driving an EV becomes not just about driving, but about planning. All these problems affect not only buyers, but also overall EV adoption. People consider EVs the future, but they still see them as a risk. That's why many people say, let's wait a little longer until the technology matures. This is where the discussion about new battery technologies begins. Until range anxiety is eliminated, charging isn't as fast as refueling with petrol, the fear of fire is completely gone, and battery life becomes reliable. EVs cannot become everyone's first choice. Today's EV batteries are functional but not perfect, and that's their biggest problem. How Toyota's battery aims to solve these problems. When Toyota talks about its new battery, it's not just talking about an improvement, but about solving the problems that plague every EV user today. Toyota claims that its upcoming solid-state battery can address all 3 of the biggest weaknesses of today's EV batteries: slow charging, limited range, and safety risks, all at once. That's why people are both excited and a little skeptical, because it all sounds almost too good to be true. First, let's talk about fast charging. The biggest complaint of EV owners today is that charging takes too long. Toyota says that its battery can fix this problem at its root. They claim that in the future, EVs will be able to charge in just a few minutes, not hours. Imagine if you stop on the highway and your car is ready to go again in 10 minutes. What difference would there be between an EV and a petrol car? That's why this claim seems almost unbelievable to people, because so far this hasn't been seen in any mass-produced EV in a practical way. Now, let's talk about range. Toyota says that its battery will be able to store more energy, meaning the car will be able to travel much longer distances on a single charge. Some reports have even mentioned ranges of 800 to 1,000 kilometers. If this happens, range anxiety will be almost completely eliminated. Everyday users won't have to worry about charging for weeks. But this is where people become skeptical. Such a long range, such fast charging, and yet the battery is safe? That's why people remain cautious about this. The third and most important point is safety. Toyota claims that its battery will have a very low risk of catching fire because it won't contain liquid, which is the biggest danger in today's batteries. Toyota's name is associated with reliability, and if the same company is emphasizing safety so much, then the matter seems serious. But then the same question arises. If this technology is so safe, why isn't it in every EV yet? In reality, what Toyota is describing is a picture of the future, not the present. Toyota itself admits that this technology is not easy. Bringing it from the lab to the factory is a huge challenge. Cost, durability, and mass production, all three are major hurdles. That's why Toyota isn't just making claims, it's conducting extensive testing. This is why Toyota's claims evoke both excitement and doubt. Fast charging, long range, and high safety, all three together are rare in today's EV world. That's why people say if this really happens, it will change the rulebook of the EV industry. What sets Toyota apart is that it doesn't rush. It relies more on patience than hype. That's why when Toyota says something that could change everything, the industry can't ignore it, even if it sounds impossible right now. Impact on the global market. When a company like Toyota says that its new battery can revolutionize the EV industry, the impact is not limited to just one car or one country. It has a direct impact on the entire global market. Because today, EVs are not just a product. They have become an entire ecosystem. Cars, batteries, charging stations, the oil industry, governments, and the daily lives of ordinary people are all connected to it. The first impact will be on the speed of EV adoption. Today, many people around the world want to buy EVs, but they're hesitant. Range anxiety, slow charging, and concerns about battery life hold them back. If Toyota's battery truly reduces these problems, the speed of EV adoption could suddenly accelerate. Those who say, "Not now, let's wait a little," might directly switch to EVs. This will increase the demand for EVs at a global level. Even today, a large part of the world depends on petrol and diesel. But if EVs become practical, meaning fast charging, long range, and safe, the demand for oil will gradually decline. This won't happen overnight, but the direction will change. Oil exporting countries, refineries, and fuel companies will have to change their long-term planning. Until now, Tesla, BYD, and some Chinese brands have been considered leaders in the EV race. Toyota's entry could change this balance. The competition will not only be about cars, but also about battery technology. The company that can provide a better battery will survive in the market. This will accelerate innovation, but it will also increase pressure. Initially, new technology will be expensive. There's no doubt about that. But as production increases and competition intensifies, prices will start to fall. EVs could become affordable in the global market. This means EVs will not be limited to the premium segment, but will become a real option for middle-class buyers as well. Today, governments and companies are investing heavily in charging stations. If fast-charging batteries arrive, infrastructure planning will also change. Charging stations will be able to serve more cars in less time. Long queues will be reduced. Highway travel will become easier. This could make the EV ecosystem much smoother. Another impact will be on developing countries. Today, EV adoption is mostly limited to wealthy countries. In developing countries, infrastructure, cost, and reliability are major challenges. If companies like Toyota introduce reliable and durable batteries, these countries can also move rapidly towards EVs. EVs could become common in public transport, taxis, and delivery vehicles. There will also be an impact on the job market and manufacturing. New battery technology means new factories, new skills, and new jobs. Some traditional jobs will gradually decline, but new opportunities will also be created. Countries that are at the forefront of battery manufacturing can secure a strong position in the future economy. Governments are already pushing for clean energy. If EVs truly become more practical, policies could become even stricter. Subsidies could increase and taxes on petrol and diesel could rise further. In the long term, cities could become cleaner and quieter. But it's important to understand one crucial point here. This change will come gradually, not overnight. Technology takes time to move from the lab to the road. Toyota also believes this, but the global market signals are very clear. EVs are the future, and the battery is its biggest heart. If Toyota delivers on its battery promises, the global EV race will enter a new phase. This won't just be a victory for one company, but a turning point for the entire industry. And that's why the whole world is watching Toyota's next move. Why Tesla, BYD, and other EV companies are feeling the pressure. When Toyota started making big claims about its new battery, there wasn't immediate panic in the EV industry, but the pressure certainly increased behind the scenes, especially for Tesla, BYD, and other EV companies. The reason is simple. Toyota is not a new or a small company. This is the same brand that successfully introduced hybrid technology to the market years ago and quietly built a reputation for reliable cars worldwide. When such a company makes a serious entry into the EV race, the balance is bound to shift. Until now, the story of the EV race has gone something like this. Tesla is the symbol of innovation. BYD is considered the king of batteries and scale, and other companies are either chasing or experimenting. Toyota seemed to be lagging behind in this race until now, but in reality, it wasn't behind. It was on a different path. Toyota's focus wasn't on flashy launches, but on the core problem, the battery. This is what increases the tension for Tesla and BYD. Toyota isn't talking about a direct fight. It's not saying we are better than Tesla or we will overtake BYD. But when it says that its battery can fundamentally change EVs, the message is clear. The EV race is no longer just about software or acceleration. Now the race is about batteries, and Toyota has very deep experience in batteries. Now let's come to the claim that has attracted the most attention: a range of $800 to $1,000 kilometers and a long battery life. Today, range is the biggest point of concern for EV users. Daily users don't want to have to think every morning about whether the charge will be enough. Toyota says its battery will be able to store so much energy that the average user won't have to worry about frequent charging. Imagine how much the driving experience would change if an EV could easily run for a week on a single charge. Going to the office, dropping the kids off at school, weekend trips, everything would be possible without any planning. This is the kind of change that can make EVs stress-free for daily users. Battery life is just as big an issue. Today, when people buy an EV, they always ask one question: what will happen to the battery after 5 to 6 years? Toyota claims that its battery will be more stable and degrade slowly. This means the range won't decrease significantly even after many years. For daily users, this means peace of mind. They won't have to worry about incurring huge expenses as soon as the warranty expires. This is where the tension for Tesla and BYD begins. Tesla made EVs cool and aspirational, while BYD captured the market with cost and scale. But if Toyota brings together reliability, long range, and long battery life, many buyers might naturally gravitate towards Toyota, especially those who want a stable solution, not an experiment. Toyota's customer base is different. Its buyers prioritize trust over excitement. If these same people shift to EVs, the profile of the EV market could change. EVs would no longer be just for early adopters, but could become mainstream. This change makes other companies uneasy. There's another subtle point here. Toyota isn't rushing. It's saying that the technology will come, but only when it's ready. This means that when Toyota launches, it won't be a half-baked product. This thinking forces Tesla and BYD to also invest more seriously in battery technology. Why isn't Toyota launching it now? Whenever there's talk of Toyota's new battery, the most common question is, if the technology is so powerful, why isn't Toyota launching it now? And this question actually highlights Toyota's greatest strength. Toyota never rushes. Its long-term plan has always been simple. First, fully understand the technology, then test it under extreme conditions, then control the cost, and only then put it in the customer's hands. Toyota knows very well that once trust is broken in the EV market, it's very difficult to regain it. The battery is the most expensive and sensitive part of an EV. If problems arise after the launch, range drops, charging issues occur, or safety concerns arise, the damage is not just to the product, but to the brand. This is why Toyota is focusing on long-term reliability rather than short-term hype. Testing for Toyota isn't limited to the lab. Toyota tests its batteries under every possible condition: heat, cold, vibration, and prolonged use. In real life, cars don't operate in perfect conditions. Traffic, bad roads, and extreme weather all affect the battery. Toyota wants its batteries to withstand all of this without degrading quickly. This mindset sets it apart from other companies. Now, let's talk about cost reduction. Developing technology is one thing, but making it affordable is another. Solid-state batteries are currently very expensive. The materials are costly, the manufacturing process is complex, and production is slow. Even if Toyota were to launch it today, EVs would remain limited to premium buyers. That's not Toyota's goal. Its goal is the mass market. It wants a battery that can be installed in millions of cars, not just a limited number of models. This is where the real battle of production and cost begins. Making a battery in a lab is comparatively easy, but producing millions of batteries with the same quality in a factory is the most difficult task. Even a small defect can lead to significant loss on the production line. Toyota takes this stage very seriously. It wants to make the process simple, repeatable, and stable first. Toyota knows that the future of EVs will only be sustainable if batteries are cheap, durable, and easy to produce. Otherwise, EVs will remain a product dependent on subsidies. Toyota believes in a self-sustaining model rather than relying on subsidies. Now the question is, when will this battery actually arrive? Toyota hasn't officially announced an exact date. Some timelines point to the future, but they are intentionally vague. The reason is simple. Technology launches are based on readiness, not timelines. Toyota doesn't want to put itself under pressure. If they announce a date and miss the target, expectations are shattered. Toyota has indicated that this battery won't arrive suddenly overnight. It will likely be introduced in limited models first, then gradually scaled up. That's the probable approach. The cost might be higher in the early phase, but prices could come down as production increases. This suspense is what makes the EV industry uneasy. There's no exact date, but the direction is clear. Toyota is moving quietly but seriously. When it launches, it won't just be a new battery, but the result of years of testing, planning, and patience. Ultimately, this is Toyota's biggest strength. It doesn't announce the future prematurely, but delivers at the right time. And the EV industry knows that when Toyota finally enters the arena, it won't come unprepared. If you like stories about future technologies like this, subscribe to Gear Nation now. Here we tell you the real story before major launches. Like the video, comment, and stay connected so you don't miss any major updates.